I would not recommend you to use the community version of Manim. This is the version by 3 blue 1 brown, and today we're going to install this version. Let's go ahead and open our terminal. I promise it's not going to be that hard. Now first of all, let's go to our desktop directory and let's create a new folder. Let's call it Manim tutorial. Then let's choose this folder. Now inside this folder I want to create a Python virtual environment. If you do not know what the virtual environment is, basically what it helps you to do is to install your dependencies in one place instead of installing it on the whole machine. So basically all your packages that you're going to install are going to be just in this folder, okay? So I hope this is clear for you. Now let's go to the official website of Python. First of all, you're going to figure out what kind of version of Python you have to use. What is the compatible version of Python with Manim? So let's go Manim PIPY and open the first one. Scroll a little bit down, and this is not what we're looking for. This is the community version, unfortunately, so I have to say Manim GL. So open the first one, and if you open it and scroll down a little bit, as you can see, the highest version of Python is 3.10. Now if you ran it before with the different versions, that is the reason why you get a different bunch of errors, okay? So once you figure that thing out, you realize that you shouldn't have 3.11 or 12 or 13 at least if you want to successfully run the Manim GL. I mean, you can figure that out, but I wouldn't recommend that. So you go over to the main website. In fact, we would like to go to Python website, and you would go to the download section, and since I'm using Mac OS, I would like to install that thing, but let's go over here and search for Python 3.10. Click here, and it has these different things in it. Okay, so let's go and click Python 3.13 too, and it just gives us the package. It's not what we want, but okay, so let me take a look on what we have in here. No, that's not what we want, so let's go to macOS, and let's see what we can get in here. Well, there's a whole bunch of different versions in here. Okay, so I'll be interested in 10.10 version. Let's click on this version, and actually let's install it. So I would recommend you to install this version. It's a stable version. Just click, and now you have to install this thing. I already installed it, but just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to go and do it with you. So I'm going to go to desktop, and I'm going to go to the folder that we've just created and save it over there, okay? Now let's open this folder. Oh, it didn't work out. Here's the terminal. Now it works. I just gotta say what folder I want to open. So click it twice, and it says about a whole bunch of different things about the access. You just click OK, and you click continue, 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 and you click agree and all that kind of stuff. Now I'm gonna click disagree and delete it. So you go ahead and do the whole process, and I don't even know, should I install it with you? Because I already have it in my applications. If I go over here, I have 3.10. I mean, it's not a big deal for me to install it, so let's remove it just for the sake of your simplicity. I'm going to delete it and go ahead and do it with you step by step. Now let's again go ahead and open this folder. Let's click it twice and let's go through all the steps. Click continue, agree, install, and enter your password in here. Wait for the installation. Once it's installed, it's going to be in the applications, and it's already in here. It's just been installed, right? Okay, so while it's installing the packages, let's create a virtual environment. Now, first of all, we're going to make sure there's nothing in our folder except this thing, and let's take a look at the hidden files and see if there's anything in there. Yeah, it's pretty good. These just different things. So I wonder why it's installing it for so long. Okay, so we're gonna type command which Python 3.10 and wait until it's installed. Looks like almost installed. Let's take a look if there's anything. Yep, it's already installed. So therefore, since we have it, let's say Python 3.10. In order for you to create a virtual environment, you say Python 3.10 or whatever version you have, then -m, and you type venv, and now it's pretty much the name of the environment, but I like to call it .venv or venv or whatever you call it, and just press enter. It is going to automatically create this virtual environment. So once it's created, and by the way, the installation was successful, therefore let's close it. So let's close all these bunch of directories that we have in here. In order for us to activate this virtual environment, we have to type source, and first off, I'm going to show you that we have this folder in here. In fact, it's a hidden folder. Now, whatever you call with the dot, it's going to be hidden. And in order for you to look up the hidden files, you say ls and -a. And as you can see, we have this hidden folder in here. Now, since we have this hidden folder, we now may activate it with source.venv, and then you say bin, because there's a bin directory inside of it, and you say command activate. Just like that, press enter, and as you can see, now we have our virtual environment right in front of us here. When we have our virtual environment done and ready, now we can actually install our Manim. Let's go to the official repository. All the links you're going to find in the description, and as you can see, he warns you about the community version, and he actually suggests you to use it, but I do not suggest you to use this version because of the limitations that it has. I personally prefer this version way more than the community version, and at the end of this video I'm going to show you some features that you will be able to use, and probably you would want to see them in the next video, but we'll figure that thing out. So as you can see, in order for us to install the Manim GL by Manim by the 3 blue 1 brown, it's called Manim GL. Okay, so any other Manim like Manim or Manim lib and stuff like that, it's not about it. Okay, it may be confusing, but inside, like once we install Manim GL, we are going to have this folder Manim lib. But if you install the package Manim lib, that is the completely different thing. So you don't want to do that. Okay, so let's go over here, and you can either use pip3 or whichever you want. I would go ahead and use just the old version of pip, and I will say pip install Manim, and you add this GL. If you do otherwise, you're gonna get into I mean, you're not going to run into errors, but you're going to have a different setup than I do. So just wait for the installation and ignore this yellow thing highlighted. Soon we're going to go to the Visual Studio Code and set things down in there. If you don't have a Visual Studio Code, you can find it in my channel. I do have that video how to install it. I don't think it's the hardest thing in the world to install that thing, but pretty much what I want to do right now is say code and dot, and I have it in my path inside my terminal, and I mean inside my whole system. So it's going to open Visual Studio Code. You might not have it, and I also have a video how to set this thing up. You just gotta search. So as you can see, we're in here, and it's pretty cool. Right now we have our Manim installed in here. Now let's close this thing, and let's create a new file. Now I'll go ahead and create that by in the terminal, if I do remember how to do that. And I misspelled it, I'm sorry. So now we have our main .py. So once we get here, next thing you want to do, you want to go down in here. In fact, so yeah, here it is. So you want to go down in here and make sure that you have this virtual environment set up. As you can see, I have a bunch of different versions of Python in here, but you have to use here this V version because it's your virtual environment. Otherwise, if you're using the different one, what you're going to see, I'm going to show you what you're going to see. Let's escape it, and let's say we're going to import everything from Manim lib, and as you can see, again, as I said, it may be confusing, but we're using Manim lib, and by the way, I did it in the incorrect way. So what we have to do is say from Manim lib import everything. Okay. So this is primarily the thing. Let's just print hello world exclamation point at first. So let's save the file, and as you can see, I don't have any kind of mistakes in here, right? So if you were to have anything different from your virtual environment, here's what you're going to get. As you can see, Visual Studio Code doesn't recognize this thing, and if you're going to use the Command R shortcut, it's going to run the incorrect version of Python, not the one that you have in here, and it's going to create a bunch of errors for you. So please use the virtual environment, and you're not going to get into errors. Let's go ahead and open our second terminal in here, because we already have one in here, but I would probably like to go ahead and use the Visual Studio Code terminal. Let's just minimize it a little bit. So what we want to do right now is to check whether our Manim GL is working at all. So let's see help. And as you can see, we have help and support and stuff like that. Okay, let's create our first scene. And what I'm interested in this video is to show you how to export it and to show you how to run the interactive mode. Anything other than that, I'm not interested in, and I'm going to show you some features that you can use, and that I would love to know these features when I started off, but nobody would really say it to me. Let's create a class that is going to be test. Inside test, you have to pass scene from Manim, and here you have to define the function construct. Remove s at the beginning if you did the same mistake as I. Pass self inside, and here let's define the first object. Let's do a text object, and let's have a string. Hello world exclamation point. Now we don't need this print, and we can go ahead and play it. So we're gonna say self dot play, and we want to write that, and we want to refer to the object we want to write. This is primarily it, and later I'm going to show you how to run the interactive mode. So let's save this file and try to run it first of all. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to export it. Now, when you run, so this is the thing that you really have to read. For those of you who do not like to read this kind of stuff, I would kind of really recommend you to do that, because otherwise you're not going to know how to use it, right? So it has all kind of different things, but the one you're interested in when you're exporting files is -w. So let's go ahead and say Manim GL, and the first option we provide is W because we want to write the file. And really the help section is the one you're working the most with. Once you get used to it, you're not gonna open it up, but at first you have to use it. And you have kind of different options for the quality of the video. Let's use HD. You can use the best one, Ultra HD, I think it's called. So let's say dash HD or hyphen HD. Now, the next thing is, really there's a lot. You can make your own encoding, and let's go step by step. You're not interested in these, so you can provide Finder option to open it up and determine in Finder to show you where the video is, but we're going to provide the path for the video. So the next argument we're going to provide is going to be file underscore name, and I'm going to call this file test. In fact, I'm going to test it. I'm going to call it test with the lowercase t. Let's go ahead and see what's then. Not interested in these things. Now, resolution. You would want to provide resolution. I would recommend for you to have the best one, but you can use whichever you want. So I would recommend 2560 by 1440. Okay, you have your resolution down. Now you can provide FPS. I'm not interested in that. Color, also not interested right now. So we're gonna get back to this thing just a little bit later, and to this thing a little bit later too. But next thing you want to say is your path. So path wherever you want to export this thing. I would say let's go into this directory and let's have a directory export. If you don't have this directory, it's going to be created by default, so that's completely okay. And since it's pretty much everything I want, I am going to run it and see if we get any errors. And yeah, and we're going to get an error. And you're going to know why just in a second. Now, would it take so much time to give you an error or anything like that? You just got to realize that it's kind of just boiled down, so it has to kind of understand things that have to be made. So it still created a video, but this video doesn't contain anything in it. We won't be able to watch it. The reason why I'm saying it is because we did not provide the class that we want to export. So let's go back. To go back, you literally press the arrow key, or you press Ctrl P to get back to this thing. So let's go at the very beginning. In order for you to move like this, I'm using option key and right right key, I don't know. So right arrow, okay. So Manim GL, and we're going to provide this class name. Now let's go to the Finder and see what we got now, because right now we have the video that cannot be watched, and I'm sure in it. So as you can see, I go here and I can't watch this video because I did not provide anything to be exported. So let's remove this file and run it again, and in this case we got an error. Okay, let's take a look what is wrong in here. Now let's check our code first. This is okay, it's completely okay, so let's go back in here. Okay, so we did not provide a file, and it is my bad, I'm sorry for that, but it is good for you to learn, because you're going to get kind of the same mistakes while you're trying to get used to it. So first of all, it's ManimGL. Second of all, it's your file. And third of all, it's your class. And this is your road to success, right? So now, export is empty, but now we're going to get a video that we can actually watch. So let's go ahead in here, and as you can see, I have my hello world right in the center. Now, you can provide with all different bunch of options, but I would strongly recommend you to use this one though. You go ahead and you use this pre-ran option. You put it in here. What it does, it shows you the time it takes to export the whole code that you created. Okay, so the reason why it's so important is because when your project gets really big, it is really hard to understand how much time it will take to render. So what you're going to see right now is the scale that will show how much time it takes. And it was pretty quick, but I think you saw the scale itself. Let's run it again so that you may see that it shows the percentage of work. And I think it's really useful. So the different thing I would really want you to know is the interactive mode. And pretty much once we explain this thing, the lecture is, I'm going to post it in the YouTube, and it's going to be down there. Whoever watches it hopefully will be, profited from it anyhow. So pretty much the whole thing is to say self-embed true. This true thing basically says that you can click this little cross over here, or whatever, it's a dot, and the window is going to be closed. Now later you will understand what I mean by that. Let's save it. Now the question, so once we do something like this, I would strongly recommend you to practice how to write this whole thing. But what I would usually do is just make a comment, and since file name is changed often, I would put it at the very end. Pre-ran is almost never changed, so I would put it somewhere in here. Quality is probably changed quite a lot, so I would put it somewhere after this. And video directory isn't changed that much, so this is the preferable order that I like. And the next thing is we're going to say manimgl main.py and test. Now what this thing does, it basically runs your code, okay? But since we want to have an interactive mode, first of all, let's actually comment this thing and run this command, and you're going to see what happens then. Let's run it. So we're going to have a different window here, and as you can see, that's it. We can't do anything with this window. We won't be able to do anything with that. Pretty much everything we can do is just to kind of scroll around, move it, press R to go to the initial position. So let's close it, okay? And this is what I was referring to, that you can actually press that little cross in there. So if you provide false in here, or if you're not saying anything, you won't be able to press that cross in there. So let's save this file and see what is the real difference in between. Now the difference is that we're going to have a different terminal in here that we will be able to use in order to add elements to our scene. And this is a great way to work with Manim, where you can literally do things and fly. Okay, so let's go ahead. Again, it's app, app or arrow or whatever. So I would usually put it somewhere in here, put the Visual Studio Code on this side, kind of minimize it a little bit, stretch this window out a little bit with Shift to kind of keep the dimensions all right. So what I would do right now is try to add whatever element. So let's say we want to have a circle. Now right now I'm in here. No, actually do we have a circle? No, we don't have a circle. Okay, so let's say I want to have a circle. I would say circle right here, now I would press enter and I would say self, and here you can say self play, but you can just remove self because it knows it by default and it will work all right. So, and we're gonna say circle, which is, I mean, in theory it should draw it right, kind of like upon our hello world thing. And in fact, I don't even have an animation in here, so let's say we're gonna write it as well. Let's see what happens. Yeah, we've got our circle in here. I didn't even see the animation because my eyes were in here, but so this is pretty much the thing. This is how you work with this interactive thing. So you just write all, different bunch of things. So you can literally clear everything and start from scratch. But in the next video, you would probably actually let me just show you that you won't be able to click this button and close your window because you did not pass the true parameter in here. Oh no, my Mac is gonna just die right now. Let me just quit it. Okay, cool. As you can see, like, you better off not to do that. So if you want to do that way, although I would strongly recommend you to just quit right inside your interactive terminal. If you want to use, so you just pass true parameter, you play your test. Okay, so once it's played, you can close it right in here. I believe so, right? Oh, it's sad that it works that hard. What is going on? It's not that bad. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't want to listen, but if we go over here, as you can see, it says that close scene on exit. Oh, it's true by default. Okay, so for a certain reason, no, it was a misconception of mine, so it's true by default. So it should work, but it doesn't, and before it worked, but it's really just with my Mac, so, alright, so you better have to quit it in here. Now, the last thing I want to show you is this thing. Like, let's say that we're going to have a, some kind of square, and we're going to create the square. Say it's going to be 4, right? So then you would say play. You would say, actually, self. You would say play over there. Here you have to say self. And, let's say fade in, right? And let's say fade in this square down in here. Okay, so I'm going to comment this thing, and I'm going to put the embed code at the very beginning. What is going to happen is that all this code won't be played at all. So let's save the file. Let's go back, upper arrow, and press enter, and we're going to have just a empty scene, right? We're going to have an empty scene. So here's the thing. What you would have to do is go ahead and type this whole thing down, right? So what you would have to do is copy this thing, go back here, paste it in here, press enter, and get it back like this. But what I've created, and it's kind of pretty cool, is that I saw it at 3 Blue 1 Brown channel, that he kind of got the same thing, but I was wondering how to create that thing, and I spent quite a bit of time to figuring out how to make it work, but now it works, and I can basically create this square just in a second by using the shortcut 1, 2, 3, go, and here it is. As you can see, I just used the shortcut to make it that fast, and it makes it extremely cool for the testing and for creating the scenes, because you save a tremendous, insane amount of time. So let's clear this whole thing, and let's see if you're interested in this shortcut to get in the next video, but we'll see how that works. Now, if you want to support this channel, you have an opportunity to do so. Probably it's it's not the interesting part of the video, but you can go over here to my GitHub. Actually, you can go over even to this Tailwind extension, and honestly, you can go to the description of the video. I'm gonna leave this thing. It's just a book, and if you're interested in reading it, some of you may go through difficult things in life, so if you're just interested, you can click it, see. But otherwise, you have a great day. I hope it was helpful.